Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go-to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at the week from July 7th to July 13th. There are over 350 new books releasing this week, and there is no way we could cover them all. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors, so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. How They Were Taken is the first in the Jenna Wyatt series by Carolyn Ritter Aspenson. In Atlanta's shadows, where secrets fester and the missing stay buried, one woman's quest for truth threatens to unearth her own haunted past. Jenna Wyatt thought she'd left her demons behind when she traded her GBI badge for a private detective license. But when a desperate mother's plea echoes the unsolved mystery of Jenna's own missing sister, she's pulled into a labyrinth of deceit spanning decades. Reluctantly partnering with Jack Parks, a magnetic ex-NCIS investigator, Jenna probes into Atlanta's underbelly, uncovering a chilling pattern of abductions and murders. As they peel back layers of lies, Jenna and Jack find themselves trapped in a deadly game where every revelation brings them closer to danger, and to the ghosts Jenna has spent a lifetime trying to outrun. With lives hanging in the balance, Jenna must confront her darkest fears and decide, how much is she willing to sacrifice for the truth? How They Were Taken will be released on July 8th. Blake Pierce's faith-bold FBI suspense thriller series continues with So Deranged. Ancient history turns lethal when FBI agent Faith Bold and her exceptional hound Turk unearth a string of murders linked to a legendary military unit at archaeological sites. They must navigate through layers of enigma to reveal a pattern and preemptively collar the perpetrator. Time is ticking, but history has never been more alive or deadly. So Deranged will be released on July 13th. From J. Clifton Slater comes Allies, Spies, and Conflicts, the first in the Provinces of Rome series. Scanlan Romelia Soltaire, once a scribe in the service of Philip V, held a position that offered rare insight into the king's character and the turbulent era. The account begins just before the appointment to the royal staff and concludes after years steeped in war, subterfuge, midnight operations, and constant risk of exposure and torture. When the hunger for danger finally waned, Soltaire returned to a quiet life by Lake Maggiore in the Po River Valley. This narrative, drawn from eyewitness experience and collected facts, tells of alliances, espionage, and strife. At its center is a king, capable, charming, and brilliant, yet also cruel and vengeful, and his scribe, a spy in Rome's service. Allies, Spies, and Conflicts will be released on July 7th. The Under the Influencers series begins with The Good Apocalypse by E.M. Foner. Imagine the nicest people you could know talking about the apocalypse for a living. Hadley Brown has quit her corporate web developer gig and the Manhattan rat race to take a job editing the newsletter and influencer portal for The Good Apocalypse, a prepper supply business in rural Amish country. Her ex-boyfriend warns her to expect paranoid survivalists, but instead she finds that the employees and influencers may be the sanest people she's met in years. Soon after Hadley arrives, events in the world start spiraling out of control, and the race is on to see which version of the apocalypse will win. Join her on a surprisingly optimistic journey to the future, surrounded by new friends who are less obsessed with endings than hope for a new beginning. There's Peter, the serial entrepreneur who owns the farm and provides studio space and a home for the influencers. Arlene, his brilliant young office manager. And Freud, her anxiety dog. Phil, a towering survivalist influencer who's counting on nuclear war to improve his love life. Fumiko, programming geek and one of the world's leading drone and robot influencers. Carl, a top AI influencer who expects superintelligence to replace humanity. Laura Ann, who combines tips for healthy living with warnings about fiat currency and the government defaulting on the debt. And Glenn, who spends his nights scanning the heavens for an extinction event asteroid while answering questions about the possibility of alien life. The Good Apocalypse can be read as a deep prequel to the author's sprawling Earth-sent universe, but the Under the Influencers series will move a different direction after the first book. The Good Apocalypse will be released on July 12th. Culpability is the latest novel from Bruce Holsinger. Set at a summer rental on the Chesapeake Bay, a riveting family drama about moral responsibility in the age of artificial intelligence. When the Cassidy Shaw's autonomous minivan collides with an oncoming car, 17-year-old Charlie is in the driver's seat with his father Noah riding shotgun. In the back seat, tweens Alice and Izzy are on their phones, while their mother, Lorelei, a world leader in the field of artificial intelligence, is absorbed in her work. Yet each family member harbors a secret, implicating them each in the accident. During a week-long recuperation on the Chesapeake Bay, the family confronts the excruciating moral dilemmas triggered by the crash. Noah tries to hold the family together as a seemingly routine police investigation jeopardizes Charlie's future. Alice and Izzy turn strangely furtive, and Lorelei's odd behavior tugs at Noah's suspicions that there is a darker truth behind the incident. Suspicions heightened by the sudden intrusion of Daniel Monet, a tech mogul whose mysterious history with Lorelei hints at betrayal. When Charlie falls for Monet's teenage daughter, the stakes are raised even higher in this propulsive family drama that is also a fascinating exploration of the moral responsibility and ethical consequences of AI. Culpability explores a world newly shaped by chatbots, autonomous cars, drones, and other non-human forces in ways that are thrilling, challenging, and unimaginably provocative. Culpability will be released on July 8th. Masquerade of Murder is the second book in the D.I. Cora Snitten series by Donna Morfett. D.I. Cora Snitten is barely catching her breath after the last case when another body turns up, this time a suspected junkie dumped in an abandoned quarry. Her team is pulled into the chaos of the Luton Carnival, a vibrant event with a dark reputation for gang violence and drug deals. Amid the crowds, noise, and flashing lights, a ruthless gangster sees his chance to make a name for himself in a new town. As the music blares and the party rages on, something sinister rages behind the scenes. Masquerade of Murder will be released on July 11th. From Adrian Magson comes The Watchman, the first in the Lone Mercenary series. Some men follow the rules. Lone mercenary Mark Portman makes his own. MI6 sent British officer Angela Price on a dangerous mission to negotiate the release of hostages held by al-Shabaab militants in Somalia. But her boss senses something's off. Fearing for Angela's safety, he decides to hire extra protection. And there's only one man for the job, Mark Portman, aka The Watchman. As he enters the lawless borderlands, Portman discovers very quickly that MI6 has been double-crossed. With no support, he and Angela are outgunned, surrounded by enemies and hunted by terrorists. Betrayed from within, Portman has no option but to rely on his instincts and cold efficiency. Eliminate or be eliminated. The Watchman is a blistering international thriller perfect for fans of Lee Child, Vince Flynn, Mark Dawson, Brad Thor, and Dan Lattis. The Watchman will be released on July 9th. The Serenity Sands series by Marie Harper Wright begins with Wounds That Hurt Us. Years ago, one night with Sienna shattered Will's family, and her father has been seeking revenge ever since. Now, with Will launching a new holiday resort, the last thing he needs is Sienna, the woman at the center of it all, walking back into his life as a key influencer he needs to impress to make it succeed. But holding his tongue proves harder than he thought. And when old sparks start flying, the real challenge won't be avoiding her. It'll be resisting the pull that's stronger than ever. Wounds That Hurt Us will be released on July 10th. The Rabbit Club by Christopher J. Yates is a New York Post Best Beach Read. When Allie McCain, an 18-year-old from Los Angeles, is accepted at Oxford, it's a chance to fulfill his dreams, to study English literature in England, to meet true intellectuals, and to glimpse the life he might have lived had his father, British rock star Gail McCain, legendary frontman of the Pale Fires, not abandoned him and his mother when he was a toddler. But not long after he arrives at the storied campus, Allie is drawn into a dark, disorienting world where events grow more and more curious by the day. Trading on his father's name, he gains entry into one of Oxford's oldest and most selective secret societies, the Saracens. As he immerses himself in this rarefied world, he inadvertently sets in motion a series of events that might culminate in disaster. A mind-bending literary house of mirrors, replete with bookish allusions and Easter eggs ranging from Brideshead Revisited to King Lear. The Rabbit Club is an arresting work of dark academia by the category's finest writer. The Rabbit Club will release on July 8th. Finally, from Mallory Arnold, we have How to Survive a Horror Story. 7 authors enter the manor. Can they survive the story within? When legendary horror author Mortimer Queen passes, a group of writers find themselves invited to his last will and testament reading, expecting a piece of his massive fortune. Each have their own unique connection to the literary icon, some known, some soon to be discovered, and they've been waiting for their chance to step into the author's shoes for some time. Instead, they arrive at his grand manor and are invited to play a game. The rules are simple: solve the riddle and progress to the next room. If they don't, the manor will take one of them for itself. You see, the Queen estate was built on the bones of Mortimer's family. And like any true horror story, the house is still very, very hungry. How to Survive a Horror Story will be released on July 8th. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading lists, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.